So today we are going to talk about the mobile platform that we're all building today. So thank you guys for all coming out. We have a bunch of different stuff to go through. So I'm just going to jam through some of it and then invite some of the teams who are talking about some of the things that we're doing to come up and go through a bunch of things in more detail. So, just to get started, we when I sat down with the designer to build this presentation, the first version, the guy pulls up this and I'm like, what is this? What are we supposed to talk about in front of this? And he goes, oh, I don't know. I just figured, you always have a graph, a picture, a social graph at the beginning of your presentation. So I figured you'd figure out something. So if the whole point is to make a mobile platform more social, then this seems like a good place to start. So, all right, now into the real stuff. So where are we now? Facebook, we just hit this milestone recently where there are now 200 million people actively using Facebook mobile products across all platforms. So that's really exciting for us because if you were to think about that compared to other mobile platforms, like Android or iPhone, this is a much bigger footprint than that. In fact, the only development platform for mobile that's bigger than this is the mobile web itself. So this gives us kind of a good base for developers to build social apps on top of. And obviously our approach isn't just to build a platform for any specific vertical environment like an iPhone or an Android, but to kind of span all of these different places. So that's what we're doing. We're growing pretty quickly. We have tripled in the last year. So about this time last year, we were at 65 million people were using Facebook on their mobile devices. So this has grown quite a bit in the last year. Now, before we get into the platform stuff that we're going to talk about today, I just want to jam through some quick updates. We're refreshing some of the apps in the line. So, first on the iPhone. The iPhone app is on the vast majority of iPhones. It's one of the most used apps on iPhone. We try to keep up to date with all of the web development that we're doing, and sometimes we build stuff for iPhone first, like Places. We released Groups recently. That's been one of the most successful products that we've released in a while. It grew and has grown very quickly, and we think that that's just going to be a really core way that people build social apps going forward. When we first launched, we didn't have Groups for mobile, so the team jammed out on this, and we have now in the next release of the iPhone app, we have Groups coming out. It's a pretty good implementation. Just like the web version, it has a few features that are simple but well executed. The mobile version is kind of the same thing. We also are updating Places in the iPhone app. So the big things that we're working on for this new version are a couple things. One is just improving tagging. So one of the things that makes Places on Facebook so much different from other location apps is the tagging interface, right? It's one thing to say where you are, but it's a whole lot more interesting to say where you are and who you're with at the same time. And if you believe that there's a set of people who are comfortable sharing where they are, but also a set of people who would be okay if their friends shared where they are, but they're not going to go out of their way to check in, then tagging is a really important kind of core social feature to get mainstream adoption of this location software. So we're releasing a bunch of updates here that make it easier to tag people who you tag people after you've checked in, tag people from newsfeed, all these different things. And that's been one of the most exciting parts of the app so far that we've seen, and we're continuing to invest in that because we think that that's a really cool part of the experience. So I'm just jamming through this. I'm not going to show screenshots just because I want to get to the platform stuff that we're doing. The other thing that we're doing for Places is a lot of what people do on Facebook is they share photos. So we wanted to make it so that now when you check in, you can immediately, right after you check in, add a photo, have a good social interaction around that. Really easy to do. A couple of engineers threw that together, and we're rolling that out on the iPhone in this release. So that's the iPhone. We also are refreshing the Android app. So the Android app traditionally has been a little bit behind. And the reason for this is, we got started last year, and we actually have had a pretty small team working on mobile stuff so far. Actually, we have a pretty small team working on stuff as a company in general for the amount of stuff that we launched. I think it's pretty cool. So last year we had this idea that because we couldn't pull together a full team to work on the Android app yet, we were going to work with an Android app shop to build the Facebook app. And we were nearing launch, and right before we were going to launch, Google bought the company. So, like, all right, well, that sucks. Like, now what do we do? So that set us back a bit, but now we're kind of back on track. We think we have general parity between the iPhone app and the Android app. So with this release, we're launching Places on Android and Groups on Android. The Places on Android thing is a really big deal because the Places app so far is already a few multiples higher of usage than any other Places app or location app that exists. But until now, it's been primarily available in the US on iPhone. Right, so launching this on Android now I think is going to give a big boost to that ecosystem, especially as we continue rolling this out across the world. So those are kind of those app updates. I really just wanted to get through that. All right, so now I want to talk about some of the platform stuff that we're doing. There's been this rumor floating around recently that Facebook is going to build a phone. Right? What a novel idea. Facebook's going to build a phone. No, right? Our goal is to make everything social, right? If you're building the iPhone, your goal is to get as many iPhones as possible out there, right? Our goal is to make it that no matter what platform you're building for, your apps can be social. Our view is that we build a bunch of social apps ourselves, whether it's photos or groups or events, and we built this platform where, the most transformative thing that I think we've seen so far has been games. Like, really just changed that industry to make it completely social. And our view is that over the next few years, we're going to see a lot of different industries get transformed and be rethought as social applications. And in order for this to happen, obviously a really key part of this is that all developers, everyone who's building stuff, can build in a social environment no matter where they are and what phone they're on. So our commitment here, what we're doing is trying to make it so that no matter what environment you're building on, there are people there, and you have a social environment and the social platform that you need to build great social applications. So that's what we're doing. And we have some stuff on RIM, we have Android, we have iPhone, Windows Phone. There's good integration there, and of course the mobile web is the biggest of them all. Right, so just making sure that people can use Connect and all those tools there is really important. This is the approach that we have, this is what we're going to stick with for a while. We may build different tools for different things at different times, depending on how deep we feel like we can get into the platforms, but this is going to be what our approach is. We're a really developer-heavy company. We want to make it so that a lot of the functionality in the ecosystem is not built by us. We think everyone's going to be building social apps, and we want to make sure that that's possible, and we think that no one's doing that well today. So that's what we're doing. Today, we're going to talk about a few things that we're doing that I think are pretty meaningful steps in that direction. Some kind of good platform components for folks to build on top of going forward. So here we go. The first is single sign-on. So making it so that you can sign in. You can have a Facebook app and you're signed in, and making it much less of a hassle once you have that to use any social app on a phone, right? So you guys are familiar with the pain, really, of using any single sign-on version of in a mobile environment today. If you click on it, some non-native app dialog comes up. It looks like you're getting phished. You have to type in your password, which sucks because knowing your password isn't about memorizing a string, it's about muscle memory, so that sucks. And then because it doesn't convert well for all those reasons, developers have been reticent to include this stuff in their apps. So we just think that with some technology hacks that we've done, making it so it's possible so that you can log in once and you can just click a button and be logged in, we think that this is really going to unlock a lot of experiences that just haven't been possible until today, right? And it's really simple if you think about it, but it's actually a very fundamental shift, right? We're removing that friction, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to talk about that a little bit in a second. The second is location APIs. So far we've launched Places. Today we're launching Places on Android. We've had some APIs. The Read API has been open, but the Write API has been white. So we worked with a few partners on some apps just to kind of vet that concept out and make sure that that works. And today we are going to open up the Write API, so that way the location platform that we have is truly an open platform, and any app can build on top of this and can write into the location store on Facebook and read from that, all open data. and kind of build apps from there. So, and again, our goal with Places is not to build a Places app, it's to build a location platform, because we think that location is just going to be a fundamental platform element of mobile development. So that's what we're doing there. And the third is we're building a platform for people to, for local stores in different places to give deals to people who are nearby. And we're starting off there with a bunch of partnerships and also making that an open platform that people can build on top of. There's a lot of details around each of these. We're really excited about this. We think that these different tools on all of the platforms that we're building will make it so that folks who are trying to build mobile applications can just really build social applications now. They're not just kind of tacking on some social stuff, but can expect that at a deep level they can make their application social, and that it's not going to be a lot of friction, and that it's going to be easy for them to build. So that's what we're doing today. I want to invite Eric Tsang, the PM for mobile, to come up for a bunch of the apps to talk about single sign-on first, and we'll jump into the other stuff. So thanks.
Thanks a lot, Mark.